nostalgia. It's been about a year since we did Operate Star Force, so hello everyone and welcome to Let's Replay Mega Man Battle Network 2. As you can tell by the timestamp in the title, we're going to be handling the redos of Battle Network from 2 on a little differently than most LPs. Sir, research on final stage. Next. What took so long? Forgive me. Delays will be punished. Sir! Just get things started, will you? We will rule the world, just like World 3. Fool! Not like World 3. Don't... Wow. Begin. Project... Sir! I'm sure that'll come up again eventually. AC/DC school, density, last day of school. Lan, you're on time today. If you got up early, you wouldn't have to run so much. Thanks, Mega Man. I feel so much better now. Now, you haven't forgotten what today is, right? Not likely. It's the last day of school, vacation time. And report card time, too. No problem there. You sure? Hey, let's go make plans for vacation. Alright. Good morning, Lan. Hey, Mail. Morning. Lan, Dex was looking for you just now. Okay, we'll talk to him in a moment. A bookshelf. There's a book about PETs. Want to read it? Sure. PET is short for Personal Terminal. Your PET is a portable link to the net, get it? It's kind of like a cell phone, but it does a lot more. You can send mail, use electronic money, and read textbooks. The NetNavi program inside helps if you have a problem. The NetNavi in your PET is called Megaman. There's a book here about PETs. Want me to tell you about it? Okay, I'll teach you, but it's kind of long, okay? Okay. PET is short for Personal Terminal. Hey, wait a second. Wait just a second. You just spouted things you learned 5 minutes ago as if you already knew it. Right, first press start on your PET to open the menu. Then you can open mail and organize your chip folder. Press the L button to talk to your Navi inside the PET. Doing so will give you hints on where to go next. Of course, I'll probably forget everything anyway. Mood. Lan, you got mail. Most of the time you get mail at set points in the story like this. More viruses news. Viruses which became scarce after World 3 are now on a rise again. Electronic devices infected by viruses may cause damage. Okay then. This classroom will be pretty empty till school starts again. There's something inside the desk. We get a panel grab P, which I will never use. Wait, that's the battleship I had in my desk! Who cares? I'm not using it so you can have it, Lan. Okay. Morning, Lan. You're always having fun with Mega Man. I wish my Navi was as fun as yours is. I mean, I'm sure with enough technical skill you could probably make it fun. Hey, vacation starts tomorrow. Whoopee! Yo, yai! Why, if it isn't Lan. Good morning. I suppose you want to hear about my collection, right? Yes. Well, I'm collecting Electopian fans. They're like little pieces of fan-shaped art, you see? A special privilege of the upper class, I suppose. Well, you probably wouldn't understand. Huh? Of course you don't. It's okay. They're mine anyway. Sure thing, Yai. Morning, Dex. Yo, Lan! Hey, let's do some net surfing after school, okay? I'll tell you all about it later. Ah! Teacher's coming! The teacher's here. Good morning, class. Are you excited about vacation yet? Woohoo! Do you all know what you're going to do? I'm going to my grandpa's place for my vacation. Something little for me. Around the world cruise, maybe? Well, it sounds like you all have wonderful plans. But don't forget about your homework. Yes, Miss Mari. Now, the moment you've been waiting for. Report cards! No! Okay, class. Have a nice vacation. And be safe. Yes, Miss Mari. Yes, Miss Mari. Lan, Dex, is something wrong? Anything you want to share with me, Lan? No, not at all. A+ in virus busting, Lan, but your other subjects... You really should do your homework, but then again, it sounds like Dex is onto something. I'll be there too. Alright. That net thing Dex was talking about, I'll pass. I wouldn't want to miss my daily afternoon ablutions. Your what? That means bath, not that you'd know. Shut up! You don't know me. Hey, there you are. Now we can talk. You hear about the new square on the net? I hear they're looking for city net battlers there. I don't know what a city net battler is, but it sounds cool. I invited Mail and Yai too. We can all go together, yeah? The meeting place is on the net at the square entrance. Spelled it correctly. Jack even said Megaman online would get home, okay? Did you hear that, Lan? The square is like a city on the net for us net navies. You can shop and talk to other navies. It's a lot of fun. Cool, so I guess we're good to go on. And here, while I'm talking to other NPCs around town, I want to talk about my goals for this LP in general. You might notice this is a bit of a longer video than most of the ones I put up. That's because this is technically me finally returning to what I like to call celebratory games, where every certain amount of videos, certain landmarks in time happen, like channel anniversaries, my birthday, New Year's, that kind of stuff, or subscriber counts, I upload a little video to celebrate. And I think redoing the Battle Hour games using that system is probably for the best, because A, it gives me time between videos to actually do any grinding I might need to do. B, it means I won't be flooding your sub boxes for a game that I already did about a decade ago. And C, it allows me to correct some mistakes from my original LPs, as this next NPC will actually go into a little bit. You can see your battle chips with the PET menu library. All the data on your chips is in there. Useful, huh? I've got over 100 chips in my library. Cool. So the library is going to be the biggest difference between this LP and the original. I used some sort of cheat code back in my old Battle Hour 2 and 3 LPs to get 100% of the chips just to not worry about grinding. I'm doing everything legit this time, and we're also getting 100% and showing off the post games in these LPs, so they're going to be longer LPs to start. Hello there, I'm here from Den Gas. You got a problem with the gas appliance there or something? Huh? Isn't that Miss Yai's house? We'll get right on it. Sure then, dude. That's Mom. Wonder what she's cooking. Doesn't matter, we gotta go. Lan, you should answer your mom, but she didn't call for us. Oh man. I've been here, showing parents report cards. Welcome home, Lan. How is school? Fine, Mom. That's nice. Now, what was I going to ask you? She doesn't know. Run away quickly! Lan! I know you've got it, so let's see it. You got what, Mom? Don't you what me? Your report card. That's what. Darn, I was hoping you'd forgotten. Okay. Well, now let's see. What? Lan! Uh-oh. Don't you uh-oh me, young man. Lan, maybe you should apologize? You're right. Mom, I'm sorry. Now, can I go play on the net? Most certainly not. Homework first. You heard the boss. Homework first. Use the R button to jack into the PC. Before we do that, though, the answers to that last test are hidden in here. You're in Big 12, Mom finds these. Lan, if you had the answers to the test, how did you get such bad grades? Alright, so let's jack into the computer and get the main part of the gameplay started, shall we? Including everyone's favorite part about revisiting these games. Lan, we're in the computer cyber world. Before we go out to play, I'll start the homework program. Wonder if everyone went straight home. Well, I'll start today's homework program. We'll begin by reviewing basic virus busting techniques. Now then, time to review some virus busting. No matter what you do, never forget the basics. I'll explain again how to beat viruses from the beginning. First, you must send chip data to your NetNavi. Make your selection in this custom window. Select a chip to send to your Navi out of these. The selected chip's data is shown here. Here's the attack force. Next is this, the virus's HP, hit points, or endurance. Normally you can only send one chip per turn, but you can send two of the same chip such as cannon and cannon. Doing that, you can use many weapons, an effective technique. Now let's try actually selecting a chip to send to the Navi. Use the A button to select, the R button shows information. You can attempt to escape by pressing the L button. Now then, try selecting a chip. R button does show the actual effects of the chips, albeit sometimes in really mistranslated ways. You sent the chip data, now it's time for battle. Next I'll explain different points as you actually fight. You can move your Navi up, down, left, and right. The B button fires the automatic Mega Buster, weak, for now, but handy. HP are shown in the top left. If they reach 0, you're dead. Above your Navi's head are the chips you just sent. Use them with the A button, but you can only use each once. And there you have it. That's the basics. Easy, right? Now I have a question for you. If you use your chips but still haven't won, what do you do? That's right, Land, the custom gauge. It slowly builds up. Once it's full, press the L or R button to return to the custom screen. Okay, let's do some actual virus busting. Good luck. Every Battle Network game has tutorials like these, usually split into 3 fights. We're mostly showing these to talk about the difference between Battle Network 1/Upright Star Force into 2. Good job. Now for the next problem. Next, I'll explain about support chips. Not all chips are weapons. For example, this area grab chip gives you room to move. This combined with the wide sword is an effective tactic. But you can only pick the same chip with it, right? You raise an interesting point, Lan. Look here. See the alphabet letters? This is called a chip code. You can pick different chips if they have the same code. You'll see later, but area grab and wide sword both have L codes, so you can select them together. Speaking of which, some codes have an asterisk code. It's like a joker. It can go with anything. Please remember. Now let's pair L chips. Let's try area grab and wide sword. So chip codes were in the original release of Battle Network 1, but they only really showed off in the chip graphic on the top left of the custom screen. They weren't on the actual chip selection section. Part of the reason why you can select only a maximum of 10 chips in Battle Network 2 from the original Battle Network 1's 15 is so they can make room for the chip code to always be visible no matter what, so it's easier to figure out what you have at a first glance. There's another reason for that, but we'll get into that in the next tutorial section as well. Notably, basically all the gameplay changes that Battle Network 2 has were present in Upright Star Force, so if you watch that LPs like Battle Network 1.1, you don't have to worry about as much, but there's still some weirdness there. Good job, now for the last problem. Finally, let's talk about Open Folder. It's almost done, class. This is a technique to add up to 5 chips in the custom window. Having more chips means more combinations. Now, on the bottom right of the custom window, see the Add button? If you don't like your chip selection, select the chips you don't need and press the Add button. The selected chips will be removed and you'll have to fight with that turn without them. But you'll get that many new chips the next turn. You can make more combinations, giving you a comeback chance. Okay, let's practice. These 3 recovery 10s take up too much space. Select 3 recovery 10s before pressing the Add button. And so you just do that, those recover 10 HP, so they're kind of just filler for now. Okay, now pass 1 turn without the chips. Mega Man, I'll send new chips, it'll take 1 turn. The add system is where the biggest differences are, I think, from 1 to 2. In the original BN2, you could use the add button at the end of every turn, but it would only give you an extra 5 chips for the next turn, instead of what they do here. Okay, now open the custom window, ta-da! The number of available chips grew by 3 because you chose 3. Now you'll have no problem deleting the viruses. Go on! In this game, whenever you add chips, you sacrifice chips from your folder for that battle, but the custom screen's permanently expanded by that many for that battle. So if you say select your starting 5 chips because they're not great, you can get rid of those 5 and just have 10 for every turn after that. You did extremely well as usual, Lan. That's it for today. Come run the program again tomorrow. You think that's gonna happen, that's funny. Done, finally. Hey, new mail. Who's it from? It's from Dex. He wants me at the square right away. Whoops, I totally forgot. Then I'm off. If any viruses pop up, bust them good. You're inside Lan's PC. It's connected to the net and the PCs of many friends. The R button lets Mega Man jack out at any time. You can also jack out in places like that flashing one there. So you can press the R button to leave the internet at any time in case you want to go back to controlling LAN and just get around faster from place to place, technically. Here on the internet's where most of the main game's gonna happen because you wander around and get into random battles. This is where the RPG portion of this RPG actually happens. Before we continue on too far though, I should note there's one other difference that the ad system has from BN1 original into BN2. You could use the ad system twice in BN1 in 2 turns in a row to get up to half your folder available at a time. In this, you can only ever get 10 total. But here's our first real encounter against Metars. They stay in their column but try to get into the same row as you, in which case they'll attack, sending a Shockwave across to you, which does about 10 damage. Very easy to kill even with the starting folders. And that's our first Zenny. That is our currency. Now, even on your first visit, it's pretty easy to get new battle chips from enemies, because that's how you get battle chips from the library, usually is by either finding them in blue mystery data like that, which are unique items that spawn once per playthrough, or by doing well enough, or at least getting certain requirements done in battles against the viruses. Sometimes lower ranks are better. I'll get more into ranks down the line. There's also a hidden bug frag right there. Bug frags are essentially specialty currency for specialty shops. There's a limited amount of them here in BN2, but BN3 beyond are treated a little differently. And there's the first battle chip I've earned that I really like. That is Shockwave R. Travels across and does about 40 damage, I think? It's essentially their attack just for us. This is a net dealer. They're the online shops where you use your Zenny to get not only HP memories and other items to increase your stats, but also usually rarer versions of some battle chips in case you're looking for specific chip codes. And getting specific chip codes in the long run is a pretty good idea because it allows you to customize your folder as best as you can. If you're wondering why we're showing this many battles in a row from the start against the same enemies, it's just so you can get a good grasp on what battle flows usually are like. Later on in this part, and by and large in every part after this, repeat battles are going to be cut out, except in the case that I get a new battle chip in them, in which case I'm going to try to just speed them up and show the new battle chip we get from it. That way you can have a rough idea of how the battle went for me to get that chip. Though, now I think about it, battle chips are also a little different in BN2 in that you're limited on them a bit differently than they were in the original Battle Network 1. Did you know your HP remains as is after a battle? You should recover during battle or use a sub-chip after. Your HP is displayed at the upper left, so you can check anytime. I'll recover your HP for you now. So this is actually a gameplay thing that they changed from BN1 from 2 Beyond. Your HP is always at the top left and doesn't get fully restored after battle, which is how it worked in BN1. It means you have a bit of an active resource to take care of, so make sure you're healing in battle a bit more often than you would have in BN1. Mind you, to help balance that out a little bit, in BN1, at least the original version, not so much Operate Star Force, the only way you could run away was by using an escape battle chip. Here in BN2, you actually have a real run button that is partially luck-based, but is also partially based in your Mega Man's level, which is on the Mega Man sub-screen. More on that down the line. Right there we had another new enemy, by the way. That was a Canodum. They don't move. They stay in one place. The moment you get in the same row as them, they send out their reticle, which if it hits you, they will fire. If you're in the row still when they fire, you take damage. They are in control of the cannon battle chip line in particular, which you already have a couple of to start. There's only really one you need to do stuff super importantly in the long run, and that's if you can manage to find a Cannon C, and I think you can mostly find that through mystery data down the line, less so from actual end battle, unless you need very specific ranks. Not a lot to worry about. The AC/DC area, your main thing you want to do here is try to get as many Shockwave Rs as you can. This goes into what I was going to say earlier. In BN1, you could customize your folder to have up to 10 copies of any chip, with the exception of one variety we'll see down the line. That has been reduced to 5 copies of a single chip here in BN2 Beyond to force you to use a wider variety. It's a better balance, but man, sometimes you just miss being able to have 10 chips that could do 150 damage in a row that could be selected with each other. The main reason we're coming over here to Den Area 3 is so I can showcase these flappy enemies. 100 HP, the way these guys work is they jump around randomly on the enemy side of the field. And about after 2 or 3 hops per, they will do their attack, which is to teleport above you and try to crash down on you. If they miss, they do crack the panel though, and cracked panels, once you step on them and then step off, become broken panels for a short time, meaning you can no longer walk on them, limiting where you can go. Flappy ones aren't a lot to worry about. Later variants or other battles where they're with other enemies, they can be kind of dangerous, only because they limit where you can go. And they have a battle chip we're gonna need to get eventually, and I think I need to use it in something eventually. I can't quite remember. I have a big document I've laid out for everything I need to do for this LP, but it's gonna be over a long period compared to most of my other ones. With that, we've finally reached the square, though. You're late, man. Hurry up, Mega. Roll, Gutsman. Be there in a sec. Mega Man, finally. We were waiting forever, Lan. Sorry, Dex. Sorry, Mail. You're totally late. What were you doing? I jacked in as soon as I got home and waited and waited. Sorry, Mom got a hold of me too quick. Huh, figures. You too, Mega. I'm sorry, Roll. Well, they sure are mad. Hey, it's your fault for getting such bad grades, Lan. Yo, guys, you can chat later. Let's get going. Gutsman, let's go ask about becoming city net battlers. Yeehaw! Let's go! Roll, let's go along too. Sure thing, Mail. Later, Mega. So this is something that was added for BN2 overall. In fact, the net was given a complete overhaul in BN2 Beyond, where one of the main complaints for Battle Network 1 was that basically every area in the internet looked the same. Now, the internet's broken up into subsections of about 2 to 3 areas each with completely different aesthetics, making navigation a lot easier. Also, this is the folder screen. This is where you can change what items you bring into battle. I'm going to be putting a lot of Shockwaves in my folder for now, getting up to the limit of 5 by the end of the part even, because the R code early on is pretty good alongside the G code down the line. Squares, though, are one of the best things the series added in 2 Beyond, because it gives the internet little towns for you to interact with. When the board's done, all sorts of info will come in. Let's make the most of it. So the board is that little house up there. We're not going to talk about that because it's not actually activated until a scenario or two from now. But we can come down here towards the shops here in the square. Subchips are used on the subscreen, but not in battle. There are subchips for HP to ward off viruses and more, but be careful, you can only use them once. So this is our first subchip dealer. Subchips, as that Mr. Program said, are sort of like your inventory use items you can use out of battle. Sometimes they restore HP, like mini energy recovers 50. Sometimes they allow you to get away from enemies below your level more often. Sometimes they unlock purple mystery data, which are like blue mystery data, and they're unique items, but you need this item to open them. And they usually also have a normal net dealers for you to get more battle chips, more HP memories, all that. We're gonna get everything throughout the game, so don't worry about things too much. I decided to take the Z license exam. I'll give it my all. Yeah! Okay then, so let's talk to Mr. Green here. The Z license exam is the first step to be a city net battler. Will you take it? Z license? You can take the main exam if you have a Z license. If you pass the main exam, you'll become a city net battler. You'll be allowed access to areas that normal navies can't, and receive other privileges as well. Well, let's begin the Z license exam. Alright, sure, let's take it. The Z license exam will now begin. Surf the net without losing to a virus, and you pass. Okay, hero data and hope data are hidden on the net. Find them both and bring them here to get your Z license. Let's go, Mega Man. Right on. So we need to find 2 special mystery data located throughout the den area in order to progress in the plot. And more than likely, if you've explored like I have, you've already seen where they're going to be, you just need to actually find where they are. Okay, you're actually curious, one's always in Den Area 3, the other's always back near Lan's computer's portal back in Den Area 1. This entire section's mostly just get you used to how random battles work on top of how to navigate the area. It's pretty straightforward. In fact, honestly, Battle Network 2's narrative is more straightforward than Battle Network 1's in terms of how they want you to progress through the structure of the plot. So it's, overall, I think the easier to interact with game than BN1 nowadays. In fact, with the upcoming release at the time of this video's recording and probably upload of the Legacy Collection, I'm really curious how new people are gonna find BN1 compared to BN2 Beyond. Where's hero data? Where's hope data? Ah! Also, a moment ago, we got the Quake chip from the Flappy. That works like their attack does, but you throw it out like a mini-bomb. So you throw it 3 squares ahead of you, it smashes down and cracks that panel, and if a virus steps on it and then steps off, you limited where they can go. Not as useful outside of certain scenarios, but it's good enough. I'm glad I got it this early, because I've gotten without that for a while in some playthroughs of this. Yeah, I might as well come up here, because by this point, oh no, I don't have enough Zenny. Never mind, I'm imagining things. I heard there's hope data around here, but I got lost. Well, you're pretty close, it's just over there. So like most of my RPG LPs, I am editing out repeat battles up to this point, repeat formations at least. We'll try to show off every virus that this LP in fact will need to in order to get all the battle chips anyway. So now that we have the hero and hope data, we can head back to the square. Cool? Cool. Speaking of the Legacy Collection though, I should probably mention this. That's not out yet at the time of this recording, obviously, and neither by the time of the upload. But if you're going to play these games nowadays, barring maybe trying to play the fan translation of Operate Star Force, the DS remake of Battle Network 1, I recommend either getting the Legacy Collection from what we know about it so far, or finding a way to get them on the Wii U Virtual Console if you still have a way to get funds on that. Because there's certain battleships in Battle Network 2 Beyond that can only be gotten through methods that are possible on that without the use of very specific emulators. Namely anything involving the multiplayer facets of these games that I don't really do much with in these games just because I don't got people to play them with for the most part. So forgetting about, I think it's between a busting level 4 or 6 with the Metars, we got ourselves a Guard Asterisk here. This is a much better version of the Guard ship than it was in BN1. In BN1, it just acted as a shield that blocked an attack, but now it's a shield that blocks an attack and then sends an attack back at the opponent. It sends basically an equivalent to the Shockwave back. And like in BN1, it's an ingredient in a certain powerful combination we'll probably be seeing next part, Beyond, and relatively often at that. Also, by and large, the way this LP is going to progress is once we're used to seeing how we get through certain pathways, I'm probably going to start doing jump cuts to get from place to place. You found them both. Impressive. Well then, here's your Z license as promised. The center will contact you about the license test. Do well on that and you'll get a full license. Oh, and for a limited time only, we're giving out presents. Here's yours. Let me install it on your PET for you. PET installed with the chip selection system. You'll find the chip selection system very useful. If you have any questions, ask the girl next to me. That's all. Good luck and happy busting. I love this addition to BN2 Beyond. I'll explain the default chip now. It's a bit long. Do you have the time? Yeah. Let's begin. Default chips refers to the battle chip on the custom screen. They're regular because you use them regularly. Select the ones you want with the cursor in your chip folder. The ones marked in red will appear as your standards. However, battle chips whose capacity is too big can't be default. When editing the folder, capacity is shown at the top. Select chips whose capacity is less than that. You can increase the capacity by getting reg up items. That wasn't too long now, was it? So that's kind of poorly explained. If you check the folder, you might notice chips have a certain megabyte size next to them, and there's now one of those on the top of the folder. What the regular system is you can select a chip with the select button that is at that capacity or lower, and it'll always show up at the start of battle. So now a Guard Asterisk will always show up at the start of battle, which is pretty useful for my gameplay style. I managed to get my Z license. I did it, Dex. I did it. Yeehaw!
We managed to get the Z license too. Let's go virus busting again sometime.
Alright, sure.
Hi, Lan. Heard you got a Z license. Hey, here's my computer's passcode. Come with Megaman sometime.
So that is our first of the passcodes for those cubes you may have noticed on Den area thus far. You get most of those through doing plot or side quests, and they give you shortcuts to other parts of the net, essentially. For instance, there's one coming up on the screen right about now, but we're not going to be able to open that one until later this part. But they also give us access to character PCs, so we can now go enter Mail's PC and grab any blue mystery data in there to get unique items. But we got a new enemy along the way. This is the last enemy for the Den area too. These are bunnies. They hop around from whichever panel they're on to whichever one is around them directly at random, but after about 3 to 5 steps, they go in for their attack, which is to throw a zap ring at you, and that's actually the battle chip you get for beating them. The zap ring is pretty weak, but it can stun you for a while because it's an electric elemental chip, and that means if they have another enemy with them, you could probably get stun locked into another attack, or even stun locked into another one of their own attacks, preventing you from moving for a while. Be careful of the bunny line in particular throughout the game, because their later variants kind of nasty. So this is Mail's PC. There's not a lot of interesting going on in here, but it does give us an access point for towards the end of ACDC, Den Area 1. ACDC area is what this place is known as, starting in, I think, BN3 Beyond, from memory? Unfortunately, that mini energy is all that's here for us, so let's jack on out and get back to the real world, why don't we? Oh, phone call. Mail? Lan, looks like a phone call for you. Wait, it's Yai's Navi Glide. Glide, is something wrong? Somebody help! Miss Yai's in trouble. What's up with Yai? She went into the bath and hasn't come out yet. So? Probably just relaxing. Miss Yai never takes long baths. It's bad for the skin. That and the gas-powered water heater is acting funny. What, is it a bug, or is it... I can't say for sure, but the water heater alarm is ringing. I'll go and check the water heater program for bugs. Lan, please go help Yai. Please.
Lan, did you hear the news? You mean about Yai? Yeah. I talked to Dex too. We're real worried. I know. I'm on my way to Yai's place now. Thanks, Lan.
Here's hoping Mom will let us out after the shit we pulled earlier, though.
Are you going out to play? Come back before dark, Lan.
Wow, forgiving. Thanks, Mom. Before we head over to Yai's, though, as much as she might be in danger, there's a couple of sub-computers we can access now that I might as well go and grab the items out of. For instance, Lan's doghouse here. Some of these generic computers have unique viruses in them. That means I'm going to have to go over to them to get battleships eventually. But from memory, I only run into Metars here for now. Generic computers, you want to go into them because basically every single one of them has some form of a blue mystery data within them. Sometimes they have even two. And you really gotta keep on a lookout because they're either in like the corners, the points between the corners, or in the exact center. And the annoying thing is, like this serve bot there, for instance, some jack-in ports to access subcomputers aren't available to be used until later on in the game, and they're really picky about when in some cases. And I could go into Dex's house to go grab some particular subcomputers, but I'd rather come over here back to the school and access the blackboard. It's kind of funny how much they downgrade the school from BN1. It was like 3 to 5 screens, I think, in the original Battle Network. Now it's just Lan's classroom. And we get it back up to an upgrade back in BN3, but after that it's never seen again, for the most part. The sword chips, even though we've already had some, they are good chips in terms of their attack power, because 80 is pretty good for this early, but I find them wanting due to their range for now, so I'm going to be focusing on the Shockwaves overall. Alright, now let's go try and save Yai. There's a time to talk and a time for action. You guys wait here, I'm going inside, so just stand back.
Are you sure about this? Shouldn't we all go in together?
Nah, we can't all risk our lives, it's too dangerous. But have no fear, I'll be back in 5 minutes, tops.
Sure. Lan, it's been 5 minutes. Let's go. Those two need our help.
Alright.
Lan, I'll go too. Okay, I'll wait here then. But you better save them and come back, okay? Okay?
Alright.
Huh? The door locked behind us. Yai, Dex, can you hear me? Wait, Lan, what's that smell?
Whoa, that stinks.
That's gas. Oh no, if they've been breathing this, and we're locked in with no escape. I smell a hacker. And I smell gas. If you breathe too much of this... Wait. Okay, your PET has a gas sensor on its screen now, see?
Thanks, Megaman.
With this, we can avoid the gas and find those two. Roger. Mail. I wonder who it could be. It's from Mail. Use roll. I told you I'd wait, but I'm worried. Give this to Megaman. And we get Roll R. This is our first Navi chip in the game. They're sort of the Battle Network equivalent to summons, where you summon another Navi to do an attack that's usually more powerful than most. For instance, Roll does 60 damage and then heals you for a pretty substantial amount for this point in the game. You're limited to 5 of those in your folder, period, though. And I don't think you can have dupes of the same one. What's going on? This place is filled with gas. And Yai's in here somewhere. Oh no, we've got to save her. Lan, over there. It's Dex. We've got to get rid of this gas. Wait, didn't Glide say something about the water heater? Right, the gas-powered water heater. Let's check it out, Mega Man. And thankfully, it's right over here. Lan, check the gas-powered water heater. It's no good. The switch doesn't work. The fan's still off. Something's wrong with the program. Lan, try jacking in. Alright. Time for our first dungeon in the game. At least how the Battle Network games tend to really handle dungeons overall. Mega Man, how's it look? Well, everything seems to be fine. Well, something's gotta be messing up the program. I know. I'll be careful. Right. And hurry. So while the main internet got refined a lot for BN2 Beyond, the way they handle Dungeon Networks is pretty much the same. Glide and his friends Navi went to the back, but they haven't returned. Well, you have to investigate that now, don't we? Quick, over there! The ventilation fan program is somewhere down there. I'll fix it, but the gas scares me. Here goes.
Ah! Oh no! Huh? Uh-oh, that sounds bad. Let's go and check it out. The way they generally work is they have a hazard of some sort. Sometimes they just impede your progression, sometimes they do damage. In this case, it's the pink gas that blows you to the end point of its trek. This is actually kind of a hard one for a first one because it actually requires a level of timing that none of the first game required at all. And if you get into a random encounter at the wrong spot, you might forget which direction you're going anyway and get blown away by it like that. Thankfully, the only thing that can damage you in this network is the actual viruses in the battles and the boss at the end of it. You don't need to worry about losing HP every time you get hit by the gas, so that's overall pretty decent. Also, we gotta recover 10 asterisk there, and I'm just gonna replace one of the L codes with that, because asterisk codes are really good for helping you get through your folder. Speaking of viruses, by the way, by and large, there's only one new virus here in the entirety of the heater computer. For the most part, it's Metars and Canadoms, but you do have the occasional B-Tank here. B-Tanks patrol in their starting column, occasionally firing out a bomb. A little bomb in particular, like a mini bomb. That will cause an explosion on the panel it lands on, as well as the one above and below it. So if you're in the center when it gets fired, that's hitting the entire column you're in. You can bait it out to the top and bottom of the columns to have it just hit the top two, but given it's going to be aimed at you no matter what, not too much of a point to that, in a way. Not a lot to worry about, but we will have to get their battleship down the line. How in tarnation to get over there? Dex! Yeehaw! Why doesn't he reply? Because he's unconscious. So the other mechanic to this particular dungeon network is you can turn on and off certain cyber gas nozzles to get more progress done. Are you guys friends, Navi? There's an error in that ventilation program. If you fix it, the ventilator outside will work. You can do it. Go! A ventilation program. It stopped doing an error. Mega Man cleared the ventilation program error. The ventilation program started. Lan, way to go. Thank you, Mega Man. Sure, come on. Let's help Dex. Ventilator move. You know, based off Dex's position, you probably could have just dragged him out by one of his arms and been fine. Lan! Yeah, I did it. The ventilator program by Dex's feet started. Hurry and help Dex. I'm on it. Hey, Dex. Hang tough. Yeah. Dex, wake up. Dex! Guts! Guts, man. That was rough, but I'm okay now. Sorry. Lan. No prob. But I can't be indebted to you. Hey, Guts man. Dex! We're gonna unlock the door so Lan can get out anytime. Okay, jack out. Yeehaw! This place, I'm leaving up to you. So now we can actually leave the house unlike before, if memory serves. Dex. Lan, no time for contemplation. Yai's still... Yeah, I know. I'll look for the other switches. Let's go. So now we're on to the second computer of it, which is more of the same, just about. But we do have a good old Navi to talk to here. Mega Man, you came. The cyber gas is too strong past here. I can't go on. Please, save Yai. What I actually used to do as a kid here, outside of getting blown that first time on purpose to get this free HP memory, is to save next to the gas, and if I got blown away, just do a soft reset. Because at that point with this particular room, it's actually faster to do that if you're not good at the timing. So since the earlier portions of this video, actually some time has passed because I like to record my commentary in bursts for longer videos like this. And the March 9th Capcom Presents thing happened where they showed off like the demo for Resident Evil 4 Remake and all that. Exo Primal got another trailer. But in that, we actually learned more about the Network Legacy Collection. I might as well say, hey, e-reader cards are alive. Good to see. And that means, by and large, for BN4 Beyond, that's probably going to be the best way to experience this series. Even with what we know about how good it's going to be for BN 1, 2, and 3. The really only weird thing about Legacy Collection overall is the exclusion of Network Transmission, Battleship Challenge, and the DS version of BN1. Well, can you get near the bath? Wait a sec. It's no use. Still gassy. Huh? But I can't find the ventilator program. Was that the ventilator program? Darn, if only we had something to blow away this gas. Lamb, that's it! This morning, what Yai said, remember? Alright, of course, I see a fan. A fan. Must be one in this home. Well, I'll go search. Like BN1, there are times you need to actually swap back to land to actually solve a little puzzle in the environment. A fan, huh? She's probably hidden out of sight. And we just need to check this drawer in her room. Here, I found it. Cool. So now we can just take it right back. Thankfully, you don't have that many options on where to check if you didn't know. Well, let's go. Hang tough. Lan! Darn! Blast it! Way to go! That's it, almost. Darn, darn, darn! Alright. Found Yai. Lan, go get her! Oh, darn. I'm just something with the gas computer. Yeah, wait a sec. Hey, gas put it over here. Lan, that did it. No more gas. Look, a ventilator program. Yeah, try this. Ho ho. Who dares try that? Ho ho. Megaman. Yeah, he's the cause of this gas. Hurry up. And thus the boss doth reveal themselves, and, gee, I wonder who the blue net navvy with a fan on their chest is out of the classic Robot Masters. I wonder if they have an entire song dedicated to them or three. And there's our first reg up, so now we can actually select a regular chip of up to 5 megabytes instead of 4. There are some you can never make a default chip, though. At least for memory. Mega Man turned the cyber knob, and thus we can now go access the boss fight. I would recommend saving it just in general before boss fights, even if you know what you're doing, because you never know if, say, your battery will die or something could happen. Just a good practice to get into. That gas is your doing. Stop it now. That I can't do. Impossible. Airman listens only to my orders. The guy from the gas company? Why would they do this? Forget companies. There's a higher purpose. You got a grudge against Yai. No way. Any rich girl would have done. Then I tell the parents, fork over some cash, or your kid gets it. I can get an easy 200 million. What kind of monster are you? Kids for money? I can't forgive you. Say what you want. Keep sucking gas and die. Not so fast. Let's go, Mega Man. Battle routine set. Execute. Ho ho! Alright, good old Airman. 300 HP, so not very beefy even compared to early game Belated 1 bosses. He's not got that many attacks either. He can shoot a giant explosion directly at you across the row you're in. He can cause 2 tornadoes to spawn. He usually does this towards the latter half of his health. One will always go vertically, the other will go horizontally. They generally try to lead into you, so if you figure out where they're placed, you might be able to figure out which direction they're going. And another tech he has is that he'll go to his back row and spawn 3 tornadoes that will move across the rows in an order that's kind of hard to decipher at first, but there's always going to be one that moves much slower than the others, so you can get out of the way of it. That's potentially going to be one of the hardest attacks to get around, not physically in terms of dodging its attacks, but in terms of hitting him in case you're trying to end this fight quickly. Because unless you have a chip like a V-gun or something that pierces attacks, otherwise you're not getting through those tornadoes with most of your attacks. Not a very hard boss. I think he's harder than, say, Fireman or Gutsman was this early in BN1, but nothing too bad to worry about. And whenever you beat a boss Navi, you get a guaranteed pretty decent drop of Zenny. Way to go. Nice work. Foiled by kids? But who cares? We'll meet again. Our group is the strongest. Till then. he got away. But, Mega Man, Yai! You said it. Okay, over here. Hurry and save Yai. Roger. She's coming around. Yai, you okay? Huh? I was bathing. You fainted from gas. Lan saved your life. Lan. Huh? You saw me naked! I wasn't looking! Yes, you were. Now, fess up. Lan isn't lying. Lan turned off the gas, but I carried you here. I opened the front door lock. Too bad for you, Lan. You missed out on seeing moi naked. Same old Yai. Always talking nonsense. Ha 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 ha. Around then. Hello, Arashi here. It didn't go quite as planned. I made a mistake, but I'll get it next time. You don't seem to understand the harshness of gospel. Come on, don't be so overdramatic. We're the Net Mafia. Soon Electopia will find out too. So what? Forget it. You've had your last chance. That's fine by me. Then, goodbye. 3 seconds until explosion. What the? Oh, that. We can't have you thinking lightly of us. Of gospel. So this game has a body count, supposedly. Yai is still sound asleep. There's a memo lying by her pillow. Lan reads the memo. It's some kind of passcode, a PC passcode. Maybe I'll tell it to Lan. Now we got Yai's security cube code, so we can now enter her PC and get to the main net through that way. And while we're here, before we actually head back to our house, because at this point you're meant to do that to end the scenario and have a guaranteed save point, I might as well go check around some of the other subcomputers we can now enter, like her telephone here. Some of these, like I mentioned earlier, do have new viruses, and I believe this one has one in particular. It has 2 even, sorties and windboxes. Windboxes are support viruses. They don't move, but they push you to your back row, whereas sorties, they're in control of the long sword battle chip, and because of that, they have only sword-based attacks. If you're in the row in front of them, they'll use a wide sword type attack. If you're 2 rows ahead of them, they'll use a long sword, and they can use area steal to close the gap. If there's multiple of that virus, it can be pretty rough because if they both use area grab, you're very limited on movement space, but given the amount of HP you have and the chips you can get by this point, they're not too big of a deal, especially if you get the Fishies chip. Fishies patrol their column, but when they get in the same row as you, even if there's multiple of them in the same row, they'll all dash at you once. You need to be careful because while it's a very predictable attack, you can't reflect it, and it does a pretty decent chunk of damage at this point, like at least 40 damage, I want to say. But you really want to fight them as early as you can to try and get their battle chips, especially in one of the other subcomputers here in AC/DC Town, where you can get into battles with just one of them, where a simple sword battle chip can take them down. Because their battle chip is one of my favorites in the whole game. It's not as reliable as it was in Ep.1 for the same reason, but we can use that reason just to a lesser effect. Because their battle chip, Dash, sends Mega Man forward across the entire row with a slight delay after you press the A button, and it'll do about 90 damage, which is enough to kill most viruses for the next little bit still in 1 to 2 shots. By the end of this part, I'm going to show me getting that battle chip, and I think I get at least 3 of them into my folder for next time. Next up, let's check out Yai's PC. This is honestly not too bad of a shortcut into AC/DC 1, as it gives you quick access to the net dealer in the case you want to go get the stuff from him that you haven't yet. Not that there's a lot of stuff you couldn't have from him yet, but eventually those particular chip codes might come into play. And we got another new virus in here, Spookies. Spookies are annoying enemies. They're almost like inverse Metars. They'll do their best to be on whichever row you're not on. But whenever they reach critical HP or a virus they're teamed with gets to critical HP, they'll use a one-off healing ability on them to just restore their HP, so they're support viruses in a different method. With that said, every now and then they will vanish from the field for a prolonged period of time and then zap in front of Mega Man. and then stick their tongue out and slap you with it, and that can do some pretty decent damage as well, so be careful of that. The slightly annoying thing about enemies like Spookies, though, is that there's some of the varieties in the game, like Mentars, that are in control of multiple battle chips, and sometimes, even if you do really well in the battle, you just won't get the other battle chip yet, because you need to get a lower rank intentionally, and that just never feels too good to me. With that said, you can get both of their battle chips at this point, just getting the one of them is a lot harder than getting the other. But now I'm trying to remember if I get that other chip here or the chip from the Swordy. Clearly, either way, you don't need to get that good of a rank on it, because on a rank 5, I think through 7, you can get the Longsword. Longsword was nerfed a little bit in BN2 from BN1, I believe. In BN1, I think it did 100 damage, and this only does 80, and it reaches 2 panels in front of Mega Man. And if you get certain codes of that, you can do another super attack with it, but we'll get to that more down the line when I actually get one that codes well with any of the swords I already have. I can't believe what happened. I'm glad everyone's all right. Yeah, so am I. There's actually not any new Jack-in ports you can access in Mail's house at this point, and even the statue for Ancestor I checked earlier that said it had one, we can't access yet. But there is something important to do here at Dex's house. For one thing, we can jack into his own Game Boy Advances. I guess the PETs use the link cable port, whatever the name for that particular port is, if it's even a standardized one. You can fight more fishies in here, by the way. In fact, I think this is actually where I get the battle chip from memory. But the main thing you want to get here is a mini-bomb asterisk, which I will replace one of my other mini-bombs with, just to help clear through the folder. My goal in the long run is to get down to only like 2 to 3 chip codes, period, at this point in the game. I've been waiting for you, Lan. Think you can take on my Guts Man in a net battle? Challenge Dex? Hell yeah. It's time for Guts Man, who's not too different than his variant in BN1. He can slam his fists on the ground, which can do damage on its own, but can also cause a shockwave to move forward. He can slam the ground a different way to cause an entire row of your panels to get broken, which, if that happens, pray you're on the bottom or top of it, the arena like that, because if that happens to the middle, and you accidentally move in the wrong way, you're gonna really limit where you can go and probably take some dumb hits. When you're in the front row, he can also just do a straight-up guts punch into your face, which hurts a lot. That just really, really hurts. In later variants of this fight, he's also going to be able to use area steal from memory, but for now, it's pretty straightforward. Stay away from the front row unless you have a battle chip like a sword you want to use to take him out from the front row, and don't accidentally input and buffer a left before the custom menu so you get to use that sword correctly. And he's not too bad. And for beating him, we're not going to get Zenny, we're instead going to get one of my favorite battle chips in the game, the Gutsman Navi chip. You've got to be kidding me. Not bad. Here, use this. This time I can't lose. So now we got his security code, so we can now enter his PC and get a shortcut, actually towards the square. For honestly, a lot of the game, Dex's house is going to be the main PC I use to get anywhere, just because it's that much closer to other parts of the game's environment. With that said, Gutsman has a chip. He'll teleport in where Mega Man stands, and slam his fists on the ground, sending shockwaves moving forward, that also damage the enemy environment. So it's pretty good for limiting opponent movements in boss fights in particular. And that's Little Bomb. It's the exact attack the B-Tanks use on us. You throw a bomb forward 3 spaces and it detonates the column it's on, the panel it hits, as well as the one above and below that. And a relatively rare encounter here, we actually got Canodum 2, our first upgraded virus. It's just a stronger Canodum. Some other variants of viruses that are stronger also move faster, but because Canodums don't move, it's not a lot to worry about there. If you run into them, they can be high damage, but you don't have to worry about a lot just because it's relatively rare to begin with. You can, I think, get Cannon 2s from this fight if you get really good busting ranks and get really lucky, but, you know, it's not likely. It's not really that likely. that's got punched into the new battleship for us. B code, so it's not too bad. The main thing with it for me is that it does less damage than the sword for something that has the same range. The main thing it does, that it can also push viruses and bosses backwards a panel in the case you're trying to get them into another sort of trap kind of setup. But I don't like it too much, barring something we can use it with later on. And now we're back in the telephone because I want to get myself that fishy battle chip. And it's not going to be too hard to get because it's just the one, and if you place a Shockwave correctly, I did it wrong there, you can hit them on both panels, so getting yourself a -G is pretty good. You're going to want to get a G code. You can get a couple different ones, but I want Gs because they code well with what I'm setting up to begin with, but also because of the obvious thing from the BN1. It's not as good as it was in BN1, but we're not going to see it until next time anyway. And now I'm here over in Yai's PC because I'm going to try to get both the battle chips from the Spookies. I think I only get the other chip, not their main chip. By the way, as for how busting rank works, we might as well talk about this as early as we can for normal virus battles. To get an S in a battle, you need to get over 10 points in the behind-the-scenes system. And those factor in the deletion time for the fight you're doing, how many times you get hit, if you destroy multiple enemies at once, and how many steps you take. For instance, in normal virus battles, getting a time between 0 and 5 seconds gets you 7 points out of that 10 you need. If you don't get hit, you get another 1 point added to your score. If you do double deletion, you get +2, and triple deletion's +4. It was really good for that. And if you don't move at all, you get another point added. So the best way to get a lot of chips is to destroy enemies with like Navi chips all at once at the start of battle. Station bomb. There's been a reported explosion at the Metro Line's Marine Street. Apparently it was only a small bomb, causing only minor damage. No injuries have yet been reported. Huh. I'm sure that's nothing at all. Welcome home, Lan. Oh, well, that's terrible. I'm glad you're okay. I'm glad you took us being in mortal danger pretty well. She's probably a little used to it by now, honestly. Is the entire vacation gonna be like this? Should we call it a day for now? Yes, we should. Ready for bed? At the end of every day, you have to save here in your bed and move on to the next part of the plot. These are good moments to grind, but I've already done enough for now. A few days after the start of vacation. You should do your homework at least once in a while, Lan. No problem. We got plenty of time for that later. Vacation rules! I wonder what I'll do today. Okay, but don't come whining to me when vacation's over. If we're gonna play, let's make the best of it. That's the spirit. How about the beach? Or a camping trip? They both sound like fun. Let's go camping. Mother Nature, here we come. That settles it. Let's go tell Mail and the others. Alright, but with that, I'm gonna need to end this off here. I'm not sure when the next video of this is gonna come up, though. Because celebratory videos, like I mentioned earlier on, I used to do every certain amount of subscribers and videos, and I want to get back to doing that, but the last time I did one was the 280 subscriber special. We just hit 420 subscribers. I need to play some serious catch-up here. These videos are going to be done when they're done is what it comes down to overall, I feel, because there's a lot more involved in actually recording these. But with that, I'm going to need to end this off here. Thank you guys for watching, and in part 2, I guess we're going to go invite all of our friends camping. See you guys then, and thank you so much for your support over the past period.